My name is Kate, and the sharp sound of packing tape slicing through the stillness of my home felt like a part of me being ripped away, bit by bit. I stood frozen in the doorway of our shared space, watching Jack carefully seal another cardboard box, his meticulousness now a cold reminder of the man I once admired. He hadn't noticed me yet, too absorbed in scribbling seasonal clothing on the box in his precise handwriting. This wasn't how I imagined our marriage ending. No shouting matches, no dramatic confrontations, just the clinical sound of tape and a marker. I had come home early from my creative agency, hoping to surprise him with takeout after a grueling week. Instead, I was the one taken off guard. My steps echoed on the hardwood as I walked in, each one dragging, as if wading through thick sand. "Were you going to tell me, Jack, or just vanish while I was working?" My voice was steadier than I felt, but inside I was crumbling. He jumped, the marker slipping from his hand and rolling under our mattress, the one we'd chosen together, agonizing over firmness and frame styles, laughing like we were newlyweds. "You're home early," he said, his voice tight, avoiding my gaze. "Clearly not early enough," I snapped, crossing my arms, trying to hold myself together. "How long have you been planning this?" Jack ran a hand through his hair, a nervous tick I used to find endearing. Now it only made my frustration flare. "Kate, we both know this isn't working, do we?" I stepped closer, my voice colder than before, because I seemed to have missed that conversation. I picked up one of his boxes, the label mocking me with its orderliness. "When did we decide this?" He hesitated and muttered, "My mom thinks..." "Of course." I let out a sharp laugh, but it sounded like shattered glass. "Olivia thinks. Olivia says Olivia knows best. Tell me, Jack, do you ever make a decision without her approval?" His jaw tightened. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I slammed the box down, the thud echoing through the room. "Fair would be talking to me, your wife, before packing up our life. Fair would be admitting that I'm not just some hurdle between you and your mom's perfect vision of your future." "You're being dramatic," he said, turning back to his packing, dismissing me as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. Dramatic? Something in me flared, hot and intense. I grabbed the box he was taping and tossed his neatly folded shirts onto the floor. "My creative business paid for half this house, Jack, and it would be doing even better if your mom hadn't scared off 3 of my biggest clients last month." He froze, his face draining of color. "What are you talking about?" "Oh, you didn't know?" I counted on my fingers, each name a fresh wound. The Harrisons, the Wilkersons, Lumina Ventures, all pulled their contracts after cozy little meetings with your mom about investment opportunities. "Funny how that works." "You're paranoid," he said, but his voice trembled. "She'd never..." "Stop calling her a saint." I grabbed another box labeled Important Documents. "Let's see what else Olivia's been orchestrating." He lunged for it, but I was faster. Inside, under a pile of bank statements, I found a folder I had never seen before. My hands shook as I opened it. Pages of monitoring files, emails between my clients, pictures of me meeting business partners. She'd been spying on me. "It's not what you think," Jack stammered, reaching for the folder. I stepped back, clutching it to my chest. "She wanted to make sure I was ruined before you left me." "How long have you known about this?" His silence was louder than any confession. My voice turned cold. "Get out. Take your boxes and leave. Kate, please. Please stay with me." I waved the folder in front of him, my hands trembling with anger. "Go run to your mom. Tell her she won, but also tell her this. She just made her worst mistake." Jack stared at me, then silently gathered his boxes. As he passed, he paused. "I'm sorry it ended like this." "No," I said, watching him walk out. "You're sorry I found out like this." The front door shut, but in my mind it slammed like the sound of a judge's gavel. I sank onto the mattress, still holding the folder. Tears stung my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Instead, I grabbed my phone and dialed Emma. "I need your help," I said when she answered. "It's time to make Olivia regret ever crossing me." Emma showed up at my door with 2 bottles of wine and a look that promised she was ready to burn the world down for me. I had spent the last hour spreading Olivia's surveillance photos across the dining table, each one a piece of a puzzle I was only starting to understand. There I was, having tea with the Harrisons. Another shot of me presenting to Lumina Ventures. Timestamps showed Olivia had been collecting these images since before Jack and I exchanged vows. "This is insane," Emma said, holding up a photo of me sketching late at night in my studio. "Who does this?" "Someone who's been planning my destruction for years," I said, pouring wine for us both. The red liquid caught the light like blood. Look at these reports. Every client meeting, every supply order, every late-night design session, all documented to make me look like I can't manage my own business. Emma picked up another photo, her eyes narrowing. Wait, isn't this from your first presentation to Lumina? Right before they ghosted you? I nodded, the bitterness rising again. Olivia's fingerprints are all over it. I can't prove it yet, but I will. My phone buzzed. Jack's number. I silenced it. He had called 5 times already, probably with more excuses. Emma watched me sip my wine. Maybe you should hear him out, she suggested. Hear what? I grabbed a surveillance report, my voice rising. That his mother spying on me was somehow for my benefit? She tracked my spending for an entire year, Emma. She painted me as a financial disaster to justify Jack leaving. The doorbell rang, interrupting the tension. Emma and I exchanged looks. If that's Jack, I'm not responsible for what I say, I muttered. But Emma was already moving. She turned with an envelope, thick and expensive. My name was written in Olivia's elegant handwriting. Special delivery from the Queen herself, Emma said, tossing it onto the table. Inside was an invitation to Olivia's annual charity gala, along with a note. Dear Kate, I trust you'll handle this situation with the grace expected of someone who was, however briefly, part of our family. The gala is an opportunity to show that grace. Olivia. She's kidding, right? Emma said, reading over my shoulder. I laughed, the sound jagged. Oh, she's serious. This is her stage. She loves turning private fights into public performances. I grabbed my laptop, my mind racing. But I'm going, and I'm going to make sure it's a night Olivia will never forget. Emma raised an eyebrow. Kate, what's the plan? I pulled up my client list, scrolling to Max Carter's name. Remember Max, the tech guy whose startup I branded? Olivia tried to poach him for her latest real estate deal, but he didn't bite. He's looking to invest, and I know exactly where Olivia's weak spots are. I started typing an email, my fingers flying. It's time to show her what my little design projects can do. Kate, Emma said softly but firmly, Olivia's been playing these games for decades. Are you sure you want to take her on? I hit send, the email to Max zooming off into the ether. I'm not playing her game, Emma. I'm starting my own. My phone buzzed again. Jack, I answered this time. Kate, please, he started. My mom says I got the invitation. I cut him off, keeping my voice sweet. Tell Olivia I'll be there. Wouldn't want to disappoint her. I hung up before he could respond, catching Emma's worried look. This could get messy, she said, swirling her wine. It's already messy, I replied, pulling up an email from the Harrisons. Canceling a project we'd spent months planning. Olivia just doesn't know it yet. A ping from my laptop. Max agreeing to meet. I smiled, a spark of hope cutting through the anger. Help me pick a dress for the gala, I said to Emma. Something that says loving daughter-in-law, but also I know your secrets. Emma sighed but grabbed her glass. You're really doing this? I looked at the photos on the table, each one a reminder of Olivia's calculated betrayal. She thought she could break me. Make me the weak link who couldn't handle her precious son. It was time to show her what happens when you push someone with nothing left to lose. The cafe where I met Max was sleek and modern, far from Olivia's usual haunts. He slid through my presentation on his tablet, his sharp eyes missing nothing. Your proposal's bold, Kate, he said, setting the tablet down. But why me? Why now? I sipped my espresso, choosing my words carefully. Because you know what it's like to be played, Max. Last year, Olivia tried to use your interest in her Lakeside Estates project to strong-arm other investors. When you didn't play along, she spread rumors about your company's finances. His fingers paused on his cup, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. Go on, she cost you that deal? I said, pulling out my phone to show him emails from Olivia's surveillance folder. Now, I'm offering you a chance to cost her something. Her latest project, Silverbrook Heights, is built on lies. I have proof. Before he could respond, I saw movement at the cafe's entrance. Jack walked in with his friend Adam, a realtor who always seemed to be in Olivia's pocket. My stomach twisted, but I slid lower in my seat. Too late. Jack's eyes locked onto mine. Kate? He sounded shocked, then wary as he noticed Max. What are you doing here? I forced a smile, sitting up straight. Business meeting. You remember Max Carter? Max stood with smooth confidence. We go way back. Your ex-wife's got a knack for spotting opportunities. Ex-wife, Jack corrected, his voice sharp. And speaking of opportunities, Kate, any business in this area should go through my mom, like the Lakeside deal did. I shot back, my smile tightening. Funny, I thought I was the one running my business. Adam tugged at Jack's sleeve, muttering about a meeting, but Jack ignored him. Max gathered his things. "We're done here, Kate," he said. "I'll have my team draft the contracts. Your insights are illuminating." He nodded at Jack and left. As soon as Max was gone, Jack rounded on me, grabbing my arm. "What are you doing with Carter?" I yanked free, my voice low and furious. "Don't touch me. You lost the right to question my decisions when you let your mom sabotage my business." "She was protecting our family's interests," he said, but his eyes darted away. I held up my phone, showing him a surveillance photo of me at a client lunch. Was this protecting me, Jack? Or was it about making sure I'd fail? He stared at the photo, his face paling. "Where did you get that? From the folder you left behind? 3 years of my life documented to make me look like a failure?" I leaned closer, my voice barely a whisper. "Did you and Olivia sit together planning how to tear me apart?" "It wasn't like that," he stammered. "I just wanted everyone to be happy." "Congratulations," I said, grabbing my bag. "Your mother's happy, and you're free to be her perfect son again." I started walking away, then paused. "Oh, and Jack, tell Olivia I'm looking forward to the gala. I have some people I want her to meet." Outside, the cold air steadied my shaking hands. My phone buzzed. Emma asking how the meeting went. Through the cafe window, I saw Jack on his phone, probably warning Olivia. "Better than expected," I texted back. "The game's changing, and Olivia's about to learn she's not the only player." The charity gala felt like stepping into a lion's den draped in crystal and silk. Chandeliers cast shimmering light across faces I'd known for years. Clients, competitors, and friends who'd picked sides since my marriage fell apart. Their whispers trailed me like smoke. "She's got nerves showing up. Did you hear about Olivia's health scare? I bet she's behind the whole thing." Emma squeezed my arm as we moved through the crowd. "We can still leave." "No," I said, gripping my wine glass like a lifeline. "This is where I need to be." Across the room, Jack stood with a group of investors, his usual charm replaced by a brittle edge. Our eyes met, and he looked away quickly, like he was afraid of what he might see. Then I spotted Max Carter weaving through the crowd toward me. "Kate, a word?" he said. We found a quiet corner, the orchestra's music masking our conversation. His face was grim. "The Silverbrook Ventures Group is pulling their statement," he said. "They've got new terms, better ones from someone else." My stomach dropped. "They can't. We had a deal." Max glanced across the room where Olivia had just entered, looking far too healthy for someone who'd supposedly had a heart attack. "She was deep in conversation with Peter Silverbrook himself. New experts, new interpretations," Max said. My hands are tied. Before I could process the betrayal, Olivia's voice sliced through the air. "Kate, so glad you came. We have something to discuss." She approached with Peter and 2 others, the crowd parting like she was royalty. Every eye in the room was on us. "I'm not interested," I said, my heart pounding. "Oh, you should be." Her smile was a blade. "Peter has fascinating insights about certain manipulated documents. Apparently they came from your design firm servers." The wine glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the marble floor. The sound drew gasps, but I barely noticed. "That's impossible," I said, my mind racing. I had given Max's team access to my systems, trusting them to dig into Olivia's lies. Had they used that access to frame me? Peter stepped forward, his voice calm but damning. "The altered environmental reports originated from your servers, Kate. Quite a specific narrative you tried to spin." Olivia's smile widened. "I told you you weren't smart enough for this family." Jack appeared at her side, looking ill. "Mother, please." "Not now, dear." She turned to the crowd. "Thank you all for coming. As you know, I've faced health challenges recently, but they've clarified what matters. Family, loyalty, truth." The word truth landed like a guillotine. Phones were out, recording as tomorrow's headlines wrote themselves. "Clara thought she could tear down what I've built," Olivia continued. "Instead, she's shown exactly why I was right about her. Amateur moves have amateur consequences." I searched for Emma, but the crowd had pushed her back. Max was gone. The trap closed around me. "Perfect and cruel. Security will escort you out," Olivia said, her final jab. "And expect to hear from our lawyers. Legal allegations are just the start." As 2 guards approached, I caught Jack's eye. There was something there. Regret, maybe. But he didn't move. Some things never change. Outside, the night air hit like a slap. Emma rushed out behind me. Kate, wait! We can fix this! I laughed, the sound raw and broken. Don't you see? She planned this from the moment I found those photos. The hospital, the Silverbrook report, Max, it was all her. My hands shook as I pulled out a USB drive from my clutch. A last-minute backup I'd made of Olivia's real financial records. But she missed one thing. The USB drive felt like a grenade in my hand as I stood outside Olivia's office. Through the glass walls, I saw her at her desk, already rebuilding her empire with that unshakable confidence. The legal allegations against me were still looming, but she had moved on as if I were a minor inconvenience. She looked up as I entered, her smile sharp. Kate, security didn't mention an appointment. They're busy with the reporters downstairs. I closed the door behind me. Something about anonymous tips on offshore accounts and falsified insurance claims, I said, placing the USB drive on her desk. Your real financial records, bribes to inspectors, money laundered through shell companies. Even that payment to Max Carter's private account before the gala. Olivia didn't touch the USB. You're bluffing. Jack helped me find it. That hit her hard. Her eyes flicked to her phone, and I saw the moment she read his message. Confirmation of her betrayal. Her composure cracked just for a second. What do you want? She asked, echoing her earlier question. Funny, I asked myself the same thing. I sat down, uninvited. I'm not here to negotiate, I said. I'm here so you understand why you lost. Not because I outsmarted you, but because you taught Jack the same lessons you taught me about survival, loyalty, always having a way out. Her hand trembled as she reached for her phone. I can still destroy you. With what? I showed her my phone and the correspondence thread from Silverbrook Ventures, distancing themselves from her. They don't like being pawns in your vendettas. Bad for business. A commotion rose from the lobby below. Journalists were gathering, cameras ready. They're here for the media briefing, I said. The one where Jack exposes how your company's been running. Unless you sign it over to him today. Let him run it his way without you, she laughed hollowly. You think this fixes anything? That Jack will suddenly be his own man? No, I said, standing. But it gives him a chance, more than you ever gave us. The elevator dinged, and Jack stepped out with company executives and lawyers. Our eyes met through the glass. He looked different, like he was finally standing taller. You destroyed my family, Olivia said quietly. No, I replied. You did that, I moved toward the door. You have 10 minutes. After that, Jack talks. You think you've won? She called after me. That this makes you better than me? I paused, my hand on the door handle. No, it makes me like you. That's what scares you, isn't it? In the elevator, Jack spoke softly. Did she agree? She will, I said. She taught us both about power. Now she learns about losing it, he nodded. She'll never forgive us. Some victories aren't about forgiveness. The doors opened to camera flashes and questions. I stepped back, letting Jack take the lead. Some battles you win by walking away. A month later, I stood in my new office, watching the sign company install my logo. Jack was running Olivia's company now, dismantling her underhanded deals. Olivia had retreated, her empire fractured, but not gone. I still had evidence in a secure vault, proof of crimes I hadn't shared, my own insurance, my own piece of Olivia's legacy. Emma leaned against the doorframe. You know, Olivia called me yesterday, said she's proud of you, that you proved her right about what it takes to win. I laughed, looking at my name on the building. Did I tell her where to stick her pride? No, Emma said, but part of me thinks she's right. You played her game, just better. You're nothing like her, Emma said firmly, aren't I? I looked out at the city, my new life stretching before me. The difference is, I walked away after winning. She never could. I pulled out my phone. An unread message from Jack waiting. Maybe about the company, maybe something more. I left it unopened. Now I figure out who I am without revenge driving me, I said. And if Olivia tries anything else, I'll be ready. The door closed behind me. Soft but final. To everyone listening, thank you for staying with me through this story. It's not just about winning or losing. It's about learning who you are when the fight's over. Keep chasing your own victories, and maybe like me, you'll find a way to walk away stronger. That was my story. And even now, a part of me is still living in that moment. If you've ever been through something like this, or even if you haven't, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell me what you would have done. And if this story meant something to you, go ahead and subscribe. You never know. The next story might change how you see the world.